That's the new Xiaomi 14. As you can see here, it looks like a pretty interesting device. It's not. It's actually affordable. It's still expensive, but it's affordable when you compare it to U.S. Flagships. So this one was just announced yesterday. Specs and everything, design, cameras, all sorts of stuff, and it will carry the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, and it will be released globally. Now they don't sell them in the U.S., but you can buy it if you're in the U.S. They're gonna release it, I believe, late next month or late November, early December. And then you have the Samsung Galaxy S24 series carrying the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 that'll be announced January 2024, here in just a couple months. And then a release date of either late January, early February 2024. Now, it will not be released in the United States as far as any retail stores or online stores, but you can go to AliExpress and purchase this phone on AliExpress, and they will ship it to you in the US. Let's see, they release a number of different models, just like Samsung does with their Samsung Galaxy series. They have like a small one, a mid one, and then like their ultra version. Now, something very interesting about this, check this out. Google just came out with the brightest display ever on any mobile device. Well, that lasted like all of 3 weeks, because this new Xiaomi 14 is going to have a 3000 nit AMOLED display. 3000. It'll be powered by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. They're going to have Xiaomi 14, Xiaomi 14 Pro, and then I think they have like an Ultra. Let's see here. It'll have an LTPO display from 1 to 20 hertz. Resolution is going to be 1.5K, which is a higher pixel density. Let's see. It's a drastic increase from 3000 nits this new 14, up from 1900 nits on the previous model, the 13. As you can tell, it has some display specifications right here. This one will have 12-bit HDR color. The previous model only had 8. Don't know what the Mandarin or the Chinese writing is, but you can tell it does have some info you can read here that we can tell what it means. Let's see. It'll be 8.2 millimeters thin, 193 grams. That's basically all the information we went over. Let's see what the price is. It says Xiaomi will have a new 50 megapixel primary camera, 75 millimeter telephoto camera. Oh wait, that was on the last one. Yeah, I know. So it'll have basically a 50 megapixel primary and also a 50 megapixel ultra wide. Let's see, Snapdragon 8 Gen 3's new image signal processor. It'll have a 4600 milliamp battery, 90 watts wired charging, IP68 certified, dust and water resistant, and it'll have their new Hyper OS operating system. They've been getting away from the MIUI, and it's now called Hyper OS. Although I'm told basically looks the same, so it's just a name change. So the Xiaomi 14 will start at $547, which is way under what the equivalent would be the Samsung S24 series, which typically starts at I think $700. Now, why is it cheaper? And it competes against the Samsung S23 or I guess S24, because like I said, those start at $700. So you see a price difference of about $150. Now, that's because Xiaomi is a Chinese company, and this is constructed and manufactured in China. So they get the parts cheaper, they get the manufacturing done cheaper. Remember, Samsung, Apple have to outsource all that stuff, right? Samsung's a South Korean company that has to get their parts manufactured and produced in other parts of the world, and then they may put it together. And then Apple's obviously an American company that gets parts from different parts of the world and have it put together. So they have extra costs in building the device, and Xiaomi does everything in-house in China. So that's why it is cheaper. Hang on, my battery's almost dead. Sorry, camera almost died. Okay. Now, the base model will have 8 gigs of RAM, 256 of storage, and you'll also be available 12 gigs or 16 gigs of RAM and up to 5, 12, or 1 terabyte of storage. And that'll be, let's see, at 6. So you can get a decked out 16 gigs of RAM and basically 1 terabyte of storage for $684, which is far cheaper than a Samsung S24, which I'm assuming will start out at like $700, and that's with 8 gigs of RAM. And I think they're doing a base of 256 this year, I believe. It says you can purchase some Xiaomi products on Amazon, but that's not their flagship device. If you want to get a flagship device, you got to go on AliExpress. They do have an official store on AliExpress that you can purchase this device at. And then the back is interesting. They have a square design. As you know, OnePlus, they have the circle design, which is another Chinese manufacturer. You got Samsung with the teardrop camera design. You got Pixel with the horizontal camera design. And then you have Apple with the squared off design. So with Android, it's interesting because you get different looking devices as far as the back and what they look like. Now, they all are having the same design language as the squared off edges, which I love. And it looks like this will have a flat display as well. Thank God. Looks like we're moving away from the curved displays. Very interesting. So, okay, so 4600. Yeah, we went over that milliamp battery. So it looks really nice, right? It looks from the front, it looks just like the S24. It's going to have squared off design, just like the iPhones. Have a flat display with a hole punch right in the middle. So that's a nice classic design. And then the back is what looks different. So this will be a really, really nice looking phone. Really nice looking phone. It just probably won't see many here in America.